Right now, we are talking to Marc Feinberg. Good morning, Marc. How are you?
I'm great. Thanks for having me.
Thanks for doing it for us here. For people that don't know, you are the writer and director of Play the Game. That's the new movie that's coming out here this Friday with Andy Griffith and Doris Roberts and Paul Campbell from Battlestar Galactica. A lot of people in the movie.
Yeah, Marla Sokoloff from The Practice, Liz Sheridan, who was Mrs. Seinfeld on The Seinfeld Show.
Yeah, she's actually going to be on our show tomorrow morning. I'm excited
All
to talk to her.
right.
She used to get busy with James Dean back in the day, I guess.
That is true. She's written a tell-all book about it.
I'm very interested to talk to her, but first, let's talk to you, so we can talk to her about her sexual escapades with James Dean. I want to get through the movie stuff with you here. Tell us what the movie Play the Game's all about and how it came to be.
So Play the Game is about a ladies' man who teaches all his dating tricks to his lonely, widowed grandfather. Andy Griffith is the grandfather, and that role of the grandfather was inspired by my own grandfather, who started dating when he was 89 years old.
Wow.
And he came to me for advice. And I realized how cute it was to see an 89-year-old guy out there in the dating world. And it was like two bachelors out in the town, one in his 20s, one in his 80s, and I thought, I got to write a story about this. Yeah,
and it seems like a good story. A lot of times in Hollywood, it's just like recycled stuff with a little different twist on it. Like, this seems like something that could, people can relate to.
Yeah, the audience are definitely responding. I don't think anyone's written a movie about something like this before, and I definitely don't think there's been many octogenarian sex scenes in the movies, although ours is very tastefully done.
Yeah, I guess there was some uproar about that in certain communities because Andy Griffith is like such a wholesome guy and he was doing a sex scene.
Yeah, I do have to warn people, if you're going to the movie expecting to see Andy Taylor from the Andy Griffith Show, you will be shocked. He's definitely playing a role like you haven't seen him in before. But, it's also, it's not a very graphic scene compared to what you see on television or other PG-13 movies.
Yeah.
So it's nothing too shocking, but people aren't used to seeing old people in the bedroom, so but that was kind of the point. I
think for good reason, Mark.
Yeah, well, it's one of those things like a car wreck. You don't want to look, but you have to look, and when you do, you're a little bit shocked.
Yeah.
But I can also say it's probably the scene in the movie that gets the most laughs, aside from Andy Griffith getting down on the dance floor.
Yeah,
seeing Andy Griffith dance also gets a lot of laughs. In fact, we put that on our website. If you want to see Dancing Grandpa, you can go to playthegamemovie.com and see Andy Griffith dance on the dance floor.
That's awesome. This is a cool story. Like, you wrote the movie, kind of based on experiences you had, and then you just went out to L.A. with your family, packed them up, and raised the money and put everything together to make this movie happen.
Yeah, it sounds a lot easier than it was, but that's essentially what happened. It just took a lot longer than I ever expected. It was altogether, it was a 12-year process from the time I started writing the script to the time it got on the screen. But raising the money was probably a 5-year process.
Wow.
And, it's been a real labor of love, a lot of sacrifice. But, we've been in the theaters for about 6 months now, and we're the number 3 most popular independently distributed movie of the year. So
that's crazy.
Yeah, we're getting people to come see the movie. It's exciting.
That's awesome. How'd you get Andy Griffith to sign on to this? I mean, he's not doing a lot these days, so how'd you convince him that this was a good project to get into?
I got Andy the same way everybody gets the actors in their movie.
Money.
I had to sleep with him. That's the way it's done in Hollywood. What are you going to do? No. It was the script. He took the role, he told me, for 2 reasons. He loved the fact that his character got to have a bedroom scene, and he loved the fact that his character didn't die at the end of the movie. Mm-hmm. And, I don't think he was joking. Those are 2 things that actors care about. Older actors don't get a lot of roles where they don't die at the end of the movie. So, nobody dies in Play the Game. Everybody lives, and it's all about living passionately.
Oh, way to ruin it. Way to ruin it.
I don't know if I've ruined it. I hope when you go to romantic comedy, you hope the lead doesn't die.
Yeah, well, I'm a guy, so I hope the lead does die, usually in a romantic comedy.
In your version, he dies in a huge explosion at the end of the movie.
Exactly. Was it hard? Like, I know we've got an older gentleman that works with us up here at the radio station. Fun guy, great stories, like character. But, I mean, sometimes trying to wrangle him can be difficult. Because it's like, I mean, once you get to a certain age, it's almost like you're regressing, and it's like you just want to sit there and, like, leave me alone. And was he hard to work with? Was he at that stage in his life where he's kind of like, Andy, Andy, focus,
No, he's actually sharp as a tack. Of all the actors, he knew his lines the best.
Really?
Yeah, he walked in on day one. He knew every single line. It's just the way he works. It's kind of the way they did it in the old school.
Yeah, that's what's the older guy that works with us up here, too. It's like he remembers every date ever.
Yeah.
He'll be like, in 1924, it was November 14th, like 4 p.m. I'm like, I can't remember what I had for breakfast yesterday. Like,
Yeah. I mean, it was fantastic. And I'm a first-time director. This is my first movie ever. So for me to walk on a set and direct a guy, like Andy, who's been working in the business for longer than I've been alive, it was a huge learning experience for me. And he was quite patient with all my mistakes as a director. And I got to say, there's a saying in Hollywood that 90% of directing is casting, and it's completely true. What that means is when you hire a guy like Andy Griffith, all you got to do to direct him is stay out of his way. And when I learned that lesson, I got great performances.
Awesome. Well, I can't wait to see it. I haven't seen it yet, but it's coming here this Friday. Play the Game is the name of the movie. It's a cool story behind it. It's a cool story how the movie got made. It seems like it's a cool movie in its own. So hopefully people will go out and see it, and shortly here we'll be hooking them up with some autographed posters of the movie.
Great.
Autographed by you. Marc Feinberg, thanks so much for joining us this morning on The Big J Show, and best of luck in your future, man.
Thank you for having me. I really appreciate it.
See you, Mark. Bye-bye.
All right, bye-bye.
The Big J Show. Weekday mornings from 6 till 10 on Billings' #1 hit music station, Hot 101.9.